Hello, thank you for visiting Making Sense of Math. Today's question comes out of O'Fallon, Illinois. And today's question is all about the difference quotient or finding the difference quotient of f. So we've been given the function f of x equals 4x squared plus 5x minus 7. And we've been asked to find the difference quotient. For those of you who need a refresher, the difference quotient is f of x plus h minus f of x, all divided by h. This is called the difference quotient. Quotient just being another word for division. Okay. So first, we can see that we've been given an f of x, and the f of x is this part of the function. What we still need to find is f of x plus h. Now, just like if we were to say, what is f of 2? Well, then wherever there was an x inside the function, we would replace it with a 2. And then we would simplify from there. 2 squared is 4, so we would get 4 times 4, plus 5 times 2 is 10, minus 7. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 10, minus 7. 16 plus 10 is 26, minus 7 is 19. So f of 2 would be 19. But we're not looking for f of 2, we're looking for f of x plus h. So f of x plus h, just like with f of 2, wherever there is an x, we're going to be replacing it with x plus h. So 4 times x plus h squared plus 5 times x plus h, and still minus 7. So everywhere that there was an x in the original function, there is now an x plus h. And just like with our f of 2, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to square this first term. We have x plus h quantity squared. And when we square something, we multiply it by itself. So what we have here is the binomial x plus h times the binomial x plus h. And we're going to solve this using the FOIL method, which stands for first, outer, inner, and last. So we're going to multiply first the first terms in each binomial. X times x is x squared. Then the outer terms, x times h is positive xh. The inner terms, h times x, that's still a positive xh. And then the last terms, and the last terms are an h and an h, both positive. So we end up with a positive h squared. You might have noticed that our middle terms are the same, and even if we had written this second one as hx instead of xh, they're the same thing. They mean x times h. So we've got two of them, so what we really have for x plus h squared is x squared plus 2 xh's plus h squared. So we're going to substitute that in right here for our x plus h squared. We have 4 times this whole trinomial. That means 3 terms. We have x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. And then still the positive 5 times x plus h and the negative 7. There's no simplifying anything within these parentheses, so our order of operations said first we do the exponents, now we have to do multiplication and division. And our multiplication, we have 4 times this whole trinomial and positive 5 times this binomial. What we're going to do is distribute the 4 to every term within the trinomial. So 4 times x squared, we get 4x squared. 4 times 2xh, well, 4 times 2 is 8, so we get 8xh, and 4 times h squared is 4h squared. We're going to do the same thing distributing the 5 to each term in our binomial, so we have a positive 5x and a positive 5h, and still the negative 7 from the end. So now we know what our x plus h is. It was our given. And we know what our f of x plus h is. It is this whole expression here. None of these are like terms. We've got an x squared and an x. We've got an h squared and an h. We've got an xh, and we've got a negative 7. There are no like terms, so we can't combine anything. But remember, what we're finding is the difference quotient, and that's where we take the f of x plus h, and we subtract the original f of x, and then divide the entire thing by h. So we will have our f of, well, sorry about that. We're going to have our, I'm going to move this up a little bit, f of x plus h minus f of x all divided by h is going to equal, well, our f of x plus h is this here. So we have 4x squared plus 8xh plus 4h squared plus 5x plus 5h minus 7. And now we're going to subtract the original function, right? 4x squared plus 5x minus 7. But if we were just to write that as 4x squared plus 5x minus 7, well, now the only thing we're subtracting is the 4x squared, because this remained positive and this remained negative. So I'm going to put this whole thing in parentheses, so we're subtracting this entire trinomial. And again, all of this divided by h. So subtracting this trinomial is really going to change the sign of every term in the trinomial. So our first f of x plus h, which is all of this here, stays the same. And now we're going to subtract everything, so we're going to distribute this negative to every term in the trinomial. That will make that positive 4x squared a negative 4x squared. The positive 5x will become a negative 5x, and the negative 7 will become a positive 7, all divided by h. Now we have some like terms, and a matter of fact, some of these are going to cancel out. You'll see here we have a positive 4x squared, and here a negative 4x squared. Well, positive 4x squared minus 4x squared is 0. That cancel each other out. We also have a positive 5x and a negative 5x. They also cancel each other out, and a negative 7 along with a positive 7. So each of these terms cancels out. And what we're left with are the remaining terms in the numerator, 8xh plus 4h squared plus 5h, all divided by h. And for simplicity's sake, we can break this up into 3 separate fractions. What we have is an 8xh divided by h, plus a 4h squared divided by h, plus a 5